My therapist said I should be more positive, so I want to start this video by saying something nice. Falco is okay, I guess. He's better than he was in Smash 4 at least, but it's tough to get any worse than Falco in Smash 4. In the transition from Smash 4 to Ultimate, he went from garbage tier all the way up to slightly above the middle. Better than nothing, granted, but I think we can do better. He's got good things going for him, but no matter how good he is now, he's immensely outclassed by the upper echelon of what many in the biz refer to as the top tiers. Falco's worth in the meta overall seems to be reliant on the obscurity of the matchup, and that's just a shame because if you put me in charge for 5 minutes, I would only have to change one thing about this character to propel him out of oblivion and into competitive relevancy. And I assume you can read, so I don't have to tell you what I'm about to talk about. You already know. You don't have to take my word for it, I'll just let LURR do all the talking for me. You know, the best Brawl Falco in the world? He'll tell ya.
I don't think it should be changed.
Wait, what?
You can't buff his laser, like, you cannot buff his laser.
Yes, you can though.
His laser's really, really good already.
Well, I saw this going differently. That's fine, I just thought I was gonna have more support on this, that's all. That's okay, I can fix this myself, I don't need help. I know this is technically a controversial topic, but I too am trying to work my way out of obscurity, and there's no such thing as bad publicity. If you don't agree with me, that's fine, but one of us is wrong and I don't make mistakes. It's time Falco gets an upgrade. Let's get to work. In Brawl, as in Melee, Falco was a menace, albeit for different reasons. For the purposes of this video, we're gonna forget all about Melee, just like Evo did. All we have to blame for what happened to Falco in Smash 4 were the immense destructive tools at Falco's disposal in Brawl. Not least of all were the lasers, granted. I do get it, it's not like I didn't hear all of the whining. I was a Falco main back when the good game was still being played. You'd think you were playing Ice Climbers or something the way some of these people complained. That's probably why LURR doesn't want the lasers fixed. He just wants to make an honest living with an honest character, and although he says lasers are fine, I know his heart says different. I see you, LURR. I knew you were a homie all along. The problem with nerfing the laser is the misconception that the laser was the problem to begin with. In Brawl, lasers were exacerbated by the other options that Falco had at his disposal. Approaching with lasers created openings for chain grabs at low percent, which Falco had on most of the cast for an easy 60 or 70%. At kill percent, he was able to safely harass with lasers at the same distance as he could reliably KO with his near unreactable buffer Dacus. For the uninitiated in the audience, that stands for Dash Attack Cancel Up Smash. In between percents, Falco could tack on the damage with lasers, he had the Gatling combo to rack up percent, and he couldn't even be pressured into the corner because he could phantasm across the whole stage. And if performed correctly, you had to hard read it to punish it. By itself, the laser was harmless. Yeah, it was annoying, but annoying is all it would be if you took away those other options. Which, by the way, they did. Chain grabs were removed entirely by instituting the restrictions on multiple grabs. Dacus was patched out of Smash 4 early in the game's life cycle. Phantasm was neutered hard, taking blows to its range, speed, and utility. Gatling combo was removed. Technically a glitch, so I'm fine, everything's fine. It goes without saying as to why Larry the Wolf main LURR is no longer really known as the best Falco, doesn't it? I don't blame him, I dropped Falco too, and guess what? So did you. Falco's better now, sure, but without lasers as an approach tool, he genuinely feels like an unfinished character. He doesn't have the speed to punish whiffs most of the time, so he really can't play the bait and punish game. It means he has to approach with dash attack or land on shields with nair and fair, and none of these options are particularly safe on block, so he'll have to mix it up with tomahawks. And because his mobility is so bad, every one of the options I just mentioned can be beaten by just kind of walking away. Sure, you can buff his movement speed and that would solve that problem, but then he wouldn't be Falco anymore. He'd be Fox, with Payatena's nair, and that would be bad. All of the limitations that I just mentioned would be so easily mitigated by a good laser. His kit still feels intentionally designed for a projectile character, but you've given him a projectile that feels equally intentionally designed not to be used. How else can you describe it? It travels half the distance it used to, but it's pretty much only usable at full screen. It's punishable on hit at any percent depending how far away the opponent is, and the best reward he can get from it is a couple of percent or a stolen jump, and nobody is dumb enough to have their jump stolen by laser. So when am I supposed to use it? To pressure recoveries? It's not even advantageous on hit because Falco is still super negative after the laser hits to a point where he's not even fast enough to get a follow-up. The only real shot he has at getting anything is if he can force the opponent to air dodge through it, but there's no reason to do that. It's not even good at bottlenecking the opponent's recovery, and sometimes it doesn't even reach. Need I remind you that there are characters in this game with global projectiles that can KO? Should I use it to cover Falco's recovery then? It can interrupt attacks, which is good, but it's too negative on hit to be ultimately worthwhile. It seems like the only time I'm supposed to use it is from full screen, standing on the ground, spamming the B button, like a child. It's worse than bad. To me, it's clearly been designed to specifically not be used. The utility of lasers notwithstanding, if the rest of his kit worked the way it was supposed to, it wouldn't even be so bad. His bread and butter combo starters, neutral air and up tilt, are unbelievably inconsistent to the point that it's almost comical. Forward air too, all of the hits don't consistently link even when it feels like they should. He gets nothing out of down throw except at nearly 0% or with bad DI. Up throw and back throw don't work the way they should because the opponent can easily DI to avoid the laser, eliminating any potential follow-ups or kill throws. Up smash doesn't link consistently and seems designed only to hit tall or airborne opponents. So fix all of this. Would it be phenomenal for Falco? Absolutely. Even so, here we would have a character with an outstanding combo game that relies heavily on scoops and anti-airs, and the only thing in his kit that seems designed to encourage the opponent to jump in is incidentally also the only thing in his kit that's apparently been designed specifically not to be used. Are you subscribed yet or what? You think I'm doing this for my health? I don't actually understand the argument that good lasers would be too broken for this game. Yes, I think changing them would put Falco back in contention for top tier status. That's kind of the point. It's called an upgrade after all. But it would be far from game breaking. Every third character in this game has a reflector or some other tool for dealing with projectiles. There's the parry mechanic and then there's Joker. I'll tell you what, don't change them all the way back. Just fix the landing lag. Maybe give them 1 or 2 frames more hit stun. Give the lasers some utility, man. What, it's okay for Ray Gun to auto-cancel but not Falco's gun? Does that sound fair to you? Despite thinking that Falco would be top tier if we fixed his lasers, I really don't think the meta as it is would be all that affected. If Falco had this many viable characters to contend with in Brawl, he wouldn't have been nearly as threatening. He's still too slow, his recovery is one of the most linear and punishable in the whole game, his only real out of shield option is inconsistent, and adding lasers to his arsenal wouldn't even solve the character's biggest problem, being unable to reliably KO, the only trait, I'll have you know, that he actually inherited from Brawl. Do not be threatened by change, my fellow Smash Bros enthusiasts. Potential is not so abundant that we can afford to waste it.
Put that shit on a t-shirt.
The good news is there's at least the slightest bit of hope for laser buffs in a future patch. I mean, I doubt they'll actually do it. They clearly want Falco to be bad and they don't want me to have any fun, but it's possible. On the off chance you agree with me, share this video, tweet it, get the word out. Maybe someone in Sakurai's office will take the hint. Hey, maybe after that they can fix Captain Falcon's god-awful ass backwards turnaround animation. Fuck, I've learned nothing. I've let down my therapist and myself.